welcome to the Great Awakening Show. I am Joanne, Divine Life Yogini, and on the show this week is the beautiful Karen Birch, who is a visionary expert on consciousness and the new earth. She works with the global Ecovillage network and has created the New Earth School. My Yogini talk this week is Healing with Mother Earth. Mother Earth, Mother Nature is our beautiful home that woman and man aligns to and receives from. A divine feminine woman or divine masculine man is one who has sensed the calling of the great mother within their soul, and one who has awakened through being deeply in tune with her innate wild nature. Mother Earth is the great mother's heart, as Earth is an anagram of heart. And she has an electromagnetic field, which is her aura that protects and supports all living beings. This global field of life force electromagnetic resonance is called the Schumann resonance, that has a frequency of 7.83 hertz, which is the frequency associated with meditation, third eye activation, and is the gateway that leads into deeper states of consciousness. It is also in numerology, it adds up to 9, which is the God-Goddess frequency. This is the sacred heartbeat of our mother, calling us back to her. If we lay on the earth and listen, we can feel and hear her heartbeat, which the ancient yogis called Om. So the vibration of Om is the vibration of earth, is the vibration of the universe, is the vibration of the divine. Our consciousness, our thoughts, feelings, are energy, which has the power to influence Mother Earth's field, and her field has the power to influence us. In the last few years, the Schumann resonance, Mother Earth's heartbeat, has spiked to the frequency of 36 hertz, which is associated with stressed states. And this seems to be due to the intense, chaotic, confusing, great awakening process that we are all experiencing in the world at this time. This is also because of the divine love light energies pouring onto the earth, which are purging the dark, negative, ego-based shadow self emotions and bringing them up to the surface, which allows us to take in more light, to awaken and to ascend higher. Our heart energy is influenced by the earth's heart and electromagnetic field. So being in nature will give us restoration, heart alignment, and healing. Walking in parks, forests, and beaches can slow our brain waves down from negative, anxious, impatient beta brainwave states to calm, peaceful, relaxed alpha brainwave states. Mother Earth, Mother Nature is my church. When I sensed the Great Mother calling me to her to be in nature, that was the time when my spiritual evolution truly blossomed. The earth nourished and healed me and brought back into wholeness all those parts of my soul I gave away during my life, during those dark moments. It brought them back to me in wholly incomprehensible, beautiful ways of wholeness. Every day I walk my dog in the forest or park that has a woodland area, which is home to my favorite trees. I walk and I commune with a special tree, as this tree is my friend. And I just feel so energetically elevated, so humbled, so connected, and so sanctified by her healing energy. Exposure to forests strengthens our immune system, reduces blood pressure, increases energy, boosts our mood, and helps us regain and maintain our focus. Forests, trees, and plants give off massive amounts of pranic life force energy, which raises our vibration and makes us feel good. Trees are wise, silent, fearless beings, and they hold the physical equivalent of the spiritual Akashic records, which is the energetic universal library that holds all human events, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions from past, present, and future. Connecting and healing with the earth, touching the trees, walking barefoot, and laying upon the earth is called grounding or earthing, which is a therapeutic technique that reconnects you to the earth's electromagnetic field and gives you positive effects from her beautiful energy to reduce pain, stress, depression, and fatigue. Connecting and healing with the sun, being outside and receiving the helic pranic life force energy of the sun is extremely therapeutic. Pranic healing with solar power works in a higher way, dissolving mental blocks, muscle tensions, and illuminating and aligning all physical and energetic systems. It helps with stress-related illness, injuries, anxiety, and balances hormones and the pineal gland activation of melatonin, which assists the body to heal itself during sleep. We must protect, nurture, and bless our home, the earth, and connect with her every day to receive her healing energies. The earth and sun will keep on going, rejuvenating and renewing themselves. However, if human beings do not awaken and change at this incredible time, at this incredible chance for our new earth coming into being, then just like Atlantis, humanity will perish and be no more. This great awakening, this divine feminine and divine masculine awakening is showing us the truth of how the corrupt globalist elite agendas are abusing humans, abusing our fellow animal beings, and poisoning our magnificent earth. They are cutting down our sacred rainforests that hold the cure for diseases to make room for animal agriculture and palm oil crops so people can eat more steaks and snacks. They are plundering our natural resources, harming our ecosystems, damaging our atmosphere, and living by the incorrect Gregorian calendar, which has brought an imbalance to the natural cycles, rhythms, and electromagnetic vibrations of Mother Earth, and thus puts us and everything out of alignment. Furthermore, because of so-called progress and modernization, most of our indigenous cultures have been wiped off the face of the earth, and we have lost many species of plant and animal life, which has brought disharmony to nature and thus threatens our own survival, because every human being is a part of this natural world. I believe many indigenous societies are not primitive. They are actually advanced because they are old cultures that understand the oneness of the natural world, and they have a true connection to Mother Earth. They have aware minds, open hearts, and infinite wisdom through thousands of years of caring, respecting, and giving back to the earth. It's time to listen to our wise elders, the shamans, the medicine women and men, and the yogis and spiritual people of the world. New Age spirituality is just ancient truth, and ancient truth medicine and ancient wisdom passed down from the indigenous peoples, tribes, and cultures of old. Humanity is awakening and realizing that it needs a change in values where our concerns are to protect all people, all animals, all trees, all plants, and our beautiful Mother Earth, rather than the accumulation of money, power, and material things. It is recognizing that we need a global resource-based economy that eliminates scarcity and creates abundance for all. that allocates the world's resources to the needs of the people, giving them food, shelter, medicine, and that preserves every species of life and protects our natural world. We, the people, are awakening to the truth of love, the truth of God, Goddess within everything and within all things, within us. For only when we remove the fear, the unkindness, and the distrust within ourselves can we help all people, all species, and bring the new earth into being. Only then will we see that we are one planetary family which joins together in peace, love, and unity for the good of all. Namaste.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Karen, welcome to the Great Awakening Show.
Thank you so much, Joanne. It's such a joy to be here to talk about such, profoundly important subjects. So thank you.
Especially at this time, which is one of the most greatest times of our history, isn't it? You know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as your show is so aptly titled, it is a really great awakening that is happening.
I know. And leading on from that, please tell us, Karen, what does the Great Awakening mean for you and for us all?
Okay, so there's a huge cycle unfolding on the earth for me, and that means so many different things. But one of the greatest things that it means for me and the experience that I've gathered over the last couple of decades is that it's like a huge kind of drawing up of all the darkness and all of the things that are out of balance on our planet. And so really dredging all of that up, which is why everything can feel so extreme at the moment, and there's so much fear, and it just feels like, oh my God, what on earth is going on this planet? It's ridiculous. It's almost like a farce. There's so much
it's so intense,
so intense. It's so polarized, and it's so important for for those of us who are coming from a good place to really hold on to faith and and our intuition, and stay grounded in our hearts and in our kind of more whole sense of wisdom and who we are, because it's all meant to be happening like this. It's all meant to be happening. Everything has to be shown, so that we can then recreate a version of balance again. So in a very kind of straightforward way, that's what it means for me. It's like it's bringing up all of the darkness and helping the planet to regain balance. But the aspect of balance and wholeness is really key here, because there are a lot of spiritual teachings that talk about how this time is about us waking up spiritually. And like raising into higher dimensional frequencies of being. And whilst I also agree that is true, for me, I see it as the planet herself is ascending. Okay, so the planet herself is wanting to come to a new state. So it's not just that we as humans are being invited to wake up so that we can come into like a higher state of consciousness, and for thousands and thousands of years, that's what was happening on the planet. The planet was just, doing its thing, and then, and the invitation from a higher source or from our own, personal souls was, okay, guys, come on, like spiritually ascend. And that would create a kind of detachment from the planet in a way. Whereas
Yes.
what's happening now is that the planet herself is ascending. And the invitation now is not to sort of fully accelerate into our spiritual evolution in the way that it was before, in a way that causes us to detach from the planet and almost like not be interested at what's going on the planet on a very physical, environmental, ecological balance kind of way. It's actually for us to ascend with the planet, and that creates something quite different. So it's about, like the earth energy, the planet energy, like in terms of that energy ascending, it's like the earth's energy is so full of this gorgeous, empowered, high frequency life force energy. And that is also like the kind of energy that wants to be happening inside of us. So it's like it's like instead of spirit rising up out of matter and detaching from matter, spirit is descending down. It's basically heaven on earth, Joanne.
That's so beautiful and
heaven
so true. It is. And we're all coming. The Mother Earth is calling us back home. I mean, you've got to look at this lockdown. So many people for the first time in their life will be going into the parks, into nature, into forests where they just went from home to work. They're coming back. She's calling us back, and I believe as we come into this new earth, this new awakening, wonderful high technologies, new ways, all the new systems will come about, but it will be a coming back home to nature and being one with nature, being one with everything.
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, there is this more feminine energy now, and and partly that relates to the Kundalini energies of the planet, like moving from the Himalayas over to the Andes. There's like there are these big cycles where spirituality gets governed more by the feminine energy or more by the masculine energy. And so we're now coming into that more feminine energy, but that's not to say that the masculine energy isn't still a part of that, because it is, but it's about everything, first of all, everything raising in vibration. So like the old patriarchal energy that pushes and forces and mistrusts the feminine, like that has to surrender and let go, and to allow the light masculine through, which is protective and it's of service, and it's strong and full of light. So that energy is being invited to step forward, which is very difficult for men at this time to make that transition.
To let us come forward and, even take the lead a little bit as it balances out.
Absolutely, because the feminine energy in its light form, in its positive, healthy, higher vibration form, is incredibly practical. It's so spot on with its intuition. Like it knows what has to be done in order to be of service to the whole, or in order to reach the goal. And then it's the masculine energy that then makes that happen. But it's like, it has to come from that feminine intuitive voice, and then the whole system can work perfectly together.
That's
beautiful. And then with that coming from the intuitive feminine voice, the masculine is of service to that and makes it happen. So the masculine energy is the hero. And then the inner child as well, the divine child energy, also gets to play and have fun. It's like there's this perfect system of a trinity.
Yes.
That we have to find within ourselves at the moment. That's
beautiful.
What we're being invited to do, to find this wholeness inside of ourselves.
Beautiful. That Holy Trinity, Mother, the Great Father, and us, the divine child, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yes. And I love what you said about all systems. We was going through the spiritual awakening. Yeah. But this great awakening is all systems are awakening, ground level systems, every system, all them old ways of being in government, in money, in education, always environmental, they're all falling for the new, to come forth. It's just a whole holistic way of being. It's just so exciting, isn't it?
It's exciting, yes. And, and obviously it can create a lot of instability for people. But again, it comes back to, taking it back into ourselves. So it's like, yes, on this big macrocosmic level, there are humongous kind of dissolutions and destructions and reshifting and reorientations going on, which is going to create so much disarray for people. Yet, we have to come back into ourselves and just find our own inner journey with that, of like, okay, let's say that my energy field and my consciousness is getting all shifted around at the moment. It's like, so my task is to just find my natural intuitive voice within, and the Trinity within me.
Yeah.
Okay, what is, and this is for men and women, like, what does my feminine feel like? That part of me that's just in flow and intuitive and natural and at peace. And what is that masculine part of me like, that wants to do things from a place of being in service and just being empowered. And what does my inner child want? What makes her or him happy and feel free? Because if we can't get that right, if we can't come from that place of wholeness inside of ourselves, then we are still working in the old system. And it's like, everything starts with the changes that we are making inside ourselves. So
exactly.
We have to, for instance, with the New Earth School, which is my big kind of thing that I'm creating at the moment.
Beautiful.
I can't create that from the old patriarchal way of pushing myself and forcing myself and saying, come on, Karen, you've got all this work to do. You should have done this already and this already. Like, it has to come from this place of the joy of my inner child, the wisdom of my inner feminine, that knows, and then the masculine energy that wants to make it all happen for them.
Yes, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your personal awakening.
Okay, yeah. So, gosh, my personal awakening, I always felt like, as a child, I always felt that I was in tune with finer energies or something, like with nature or with some sense of something, but I didn't have a word for what it was. But when I was at university, I started doing Kung Fu, and it was a very traditional form of Kung Fu, this tiger crane style, which really emphasized the flow of chi energy, etc. And I just got very much into this. What I suddenly recognized was, it had a name. It's called spirituality. So I started meditating and learning all about the chakras and doing everything, and I started having some wild experiences of taking in so much light and having all of these kind of kundalini experiences, etc. And the more I went into it, and I really resonated with a lot of the kind of Taoist teachings and these kind of Eastern Enlightenment traditions. So I was reading a lot of this stuff, and I just felt like I just recognized myself in it. And I just thought, well, if there's such a thing as enlightenment, if someone else has done it, then I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I recognized that the peace and happiness I'd always longed for, that, that it just seemed so difficult to find from life. I recognized, wow, this is the way.
Yeah.
It's through enlightenment that I can find that peace and happiness. So I went full throttle towards enlightenment, to the point where I was meditating so much, and my third eye started to open, and I started to receive visions and communications when I was meditating, and I started to receive guidance that was guiding me moment by moment. And it got so strong that, with all of us, it comes to that point where you realize that there's only one way forward, and that is to only live by the guidance of your soul, of your heart, of your spirit. Like, you can't do it any other way anymore, no matter what that means. If your heart and your soul are saying, quit this job, leave that relationship, leave your house, whatever it is, you have to do it because it means so much to you. It becomes all of who you are. And that's pretty much what happened to me. I reached a point where I was so completely in love with the divine.
Oh,
and
that's beautiful. Yes. I feel
so,
that.
Yeah. And so yearning for total sort of divine union, that everything felt like it was getting in the way. And I really, and also I must add, I was also completely in love with Mother Earth, with nature.
That is so profound that you say that, because for me, when she calls you, I feel that she's the one who starts to initiate that beautiful soul, healing. You start to go to the forest, and then she heals you from just being there, Then really for her, she was my initiator.
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, for me too, to an extent, in the sense that I could connect more deeply with the divine whilst I was in nature, whilst I was with her, because you're surrounded by these beautiful energies and all of this just beauty of nature. And it's just so magical. It is like such a magical kingdom when you open up to what it really is. And then, and then it just like opens up a portal where the divine can just flow through, and you feel so connected and so loved by this mother and this father.
Yeah. Total acceptance and total, total. It's beautiful. The healing energies raise your vibration so much when you're just there at one.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a two-way thing, isn't it? As soon as you feel it, then you receive more, and you give her more,
and she gives more, and then it's just like, and the energy amplifies and amplifies and amplifies, and there isn't anything else when you experience that. You feel so whole and complete, like nothing compares to it.
Yes.
And so I was filling up more and more on this, and I literally didn't want anything else anymore, Joanne. I went to the extreme. I just felt like living in four walls was just getting in the way. And this is where something interesting happened, where there was quite a dramatic sort of download and shift in my path, because I did go to the extreme of actually leaving my house and leaving my husband and leaving my work. And I had a really beautiful life. Like, it's not like I wasn't liking my life. It was a beautiful life. But I wanted complete and utter union with Mother Earth and the divine. So I left.
Wow.
And I went into the forest with a tent. And I didn't know how long I was going to be there for. I was just there. I was just going to receive guidance moment by moment and see what happened. And what happened was that I received a lot happened. A lot of sort of teachings came, a lot of guidance came, and there was this whole other kind of mystical quest that happened that I won't go into right now. But what I felt very deeply was this shift happening of, whereas I thought that I was going to go into the forest and I was going to ascend.
Yes.
What happened was that I experienced like my spirit descending down, and I was presented with this invitation of, if you love Mother Earth, then you need to be of service to her. You need to help her, and I really saw how, wanting to be of service to the divine, wanting to be of service to our Mother Earth. I mean, it's not about just wanting to be in nature all the time and just enjoying it and then detaching from it and ascending. Like, that's not what is being invited of us right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. I want to be of service to this planet. I don't want to just ascend just for my own personal benefit.
That's a selfish. I think that's that's not what true enlightenment or this great awakening is all about. Because you can be off with the fairies and be in that spiritual place, but we are human and divine. So it's finding that balance between and embracing our humanity as much as our spirituality, and then giving what we've learned, being of service and helping others find that.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. And what I saw when I was in the forest, I had a vision of all of these people in ecovillages. But it was something about the people. They weren't people as people are right now. Well, that's quite a generalization, but they weren't just like normal people, and they weren't super spiritual, like ethereal people either. They were strong, they were empowered, they were high vibration, but they were grounded, and they were doing work. They were sort of, there was this sense of this almost like a golden energy in the atmosphere, and these people were just very healthy and empowered, and yeah, like regenerating the planet.
Beautiful. That is just
And I
so
knew,
profound.
yeah, and I knew that I had to somehow help this vision come into being.
And this leads on to the next question. Tell us about how your work, tell us all about this, Karen. Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, I mean, I started by really getting into ecovillages. That was my first point of call. I thought maybe I meant to create an ecovillage. So I joined the Global Ecovillage Network.
What does an eco-village mean? Tell the audience what exactly it means, because people might not know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of definitions of ecovillage, but it's generally like you have like your transition towns where it's like a traditional, just like any traditional village, but it's been, certain infrastructures have been put in place, or they're trying to transition into it being more ecological. Like maybe they've, installed various different ecological technologies into people's houses, or, started like some food forests or something like this. But more typically it relates to a community of people that have purchased a bit of land, for instance, and then they've started to build eco houses and all these different technologies, so that there's no waste and everything is being used.
Self-sustaining.
It's self-sustaining, yeah. But there are other types where people have bought kind of quite desolated or deserted villages.
Wow.
And then completely kind of reinvented,
regenerated. Oh, that's beautiful.
Exactly. So yes, and there are all kinds of different ecovillages all around the world. I mean, I've been to so many now, and they're all so completely different. Some just focus more on the eco side of it, and others focus a lot on the community aspect and the culture that they're creating and the relationships between the people. Some are spiritual, some are not spiritual.
Ah, I see. And is it like some of them, they're working, everyone in the community has a job to help the community? It's
Yes.
like a whole being, a whole community that is, oneness. That's how, of unity.
Yeah, although on a more realistic level, there a lot of the eco communities around the world, they're also still very much connected with the world around them. They don't want to isolate.
No.
They don't.
Yes.
They almost don't want to become completely self-sufficient, a lot of them, because they don't want to cut off. They don't want to seem like a cult.
Yes,
because that's not the idea. The idea isn't to separate themselves from the rest of society. They want to integrate with society, and a lot of them do a lot of work to help the villages around them, or the neighborhoods around them. So, but yeah, what was interesting, and coming now back to the work that I've been up to in the past couple of years, where last year I co-produced a feature film, and this year I'm launching the New Earth School.
Carry on.
So one of the things that I found in getting to know a lot of different ecovillages around the world,
yes,
is that on the one hand, they're pioneers, right? On the one hand, they're doing something very brave and courageous. They're, and they're working with all of these eco technologies, which is what the planet needs. Like, we all need to transition into eco villages.
Yes.
All of our towns and our villages need to become eco towns and eco villages. So in one way, the eco villages that are currently existing in the world, they're pioneers. But on the other hand, Joanne, what I found was that you know, and I almost feel bad to say it because I have so much respect for all these ecovillages and all the people that started them. But what I found was that a lot of the consciousness that is, you know, that is creating these cultures has come from an old paradigm still.
Is it how do you mean, like the hierarchy, or how do you, yeah.
It's it's quite hard to tangibly put into words, but I guess, you know, I guess the old, you know, when we look at a kind of old time consciousness of the old paradigm that we're trying to free ourselves from now, you know, and it is quite dominated by that masculine energy. I'm not saying men, but that masculine energy that is not sustainable. So there's this irony of, even though they're trying to live sustainably and they're focusing on the ecological, environmental part of that to create a sustainable ecology, but their way of operating is not sustainable. Like, they're burning themselves out all the time.
And, you know, really, it's all going to come from the open heart. This great awakening is all about the death of the ego and coming from that open heart. And everything you do from that open heart, everything should be done from that. If it's not done from that, it's done from ego. And maybe that's, you know, causing some of that, because everyone has to do their inner work. You know, you're not immune from doing your inner work. Like, you've done it, I've done it. We've all been through that dark night of the soul. You went into the forest. My goodness, everyone has to do it and go through that to come from that heart space. Yeah, and then everything you create, it's beautiful.
Exactly, Joanne. It's such a journey for people, and something that we have to constantly work on to come out of the head, isn't it?
Yes.
And because even if it's not the ego, even if it's not like an ego thing of like, I want to be right, and therefore all these politics get created because everybody wants to be right. You know, even if you're not coming from that place, even if you are coming from a really well-intentioned place and you're aware of your ego, a lot of the time you still see that it's the head that's leading. It's all these conceptualized ideas, instead of, again, like what you're saying, instead of being able to tune in to the heart and live by that. And by the heart, you know, I don't mean like, this very emotional feeling energy of like, you know, of like being held hostage all the time and people pleasing. Like, that's not the higher energy of the heart.
Love can be strong. Love is strength as well.
Yeah, it's truth.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
It's our truth. Yeah.
Wow.
So then I realized that, okay, maybe my path isn't about joining one of these eco-villages, but it's actually to help create that consciousness in people. It's to help facilitate people moving forward on their sort of eco journeys, on their journeys of how to create more eco-village type lifestyles, whether that's being in an eco-village or not,
or just whether that's being in your own environment, in your own community, in your own home.
Exactly, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. So it's just a kind of mindset, but that to emphasize the shifts that we have to make in our consciousness as well. Because if we're just, you know, if we're just living a lower impact lifestyle, if we're starting a community, if we're growing a permaculture garden, but we're still coming from that same place in consciousness, which is very much based in the head, then, you know, or very much based in like a disempowerment consciousness.
Yes.
Like the old time consciousness is rooted in disempowerment, fear, control.
And also it's selfishness. It wasn't service to others. It wasn't all inclusive of we, you know, being together and doing it for the good of all. There's always one or two, that hierarchical system, isn't it? That patriarchal system.
Yeah.
So, and we're going out of that, thank goodness. Yeah. And tell us, and so you do that as well. You do one-to-one sessions for this. Tell us.
Well, I do. I have been doing coaching and energy sessions for a long time. But yeah, I'm now starting to step away from that a little bit as I'm focusing on building the New Earth School. But yeah, empowerment has been my thing for a very long time, you know, helping people to become empowered and to really find their purpose and what their spirit blueprint is, you know, because we all have this blueprint inside of us, you know, our core true self. And that's just always wanting to come out, and it's always trying to come out through all these layers of conditioning that, you know, that are clogging up our energy fields and preventing us from being who we really are. So yeah, I would do coaching around that. But now I really want to just focus on the New Earth School, which is going to be helping people to make all the different shifts that they need in a very accessible way.
Wow. The New Earth School. Where is that going? That's just going, you're going to have them all over the world?
Well, it's starting off online.
Yeah.
So that it can just reach people everywhere. Because the idea is that, you know, people who are interested in making these shifts within themselves and in their lifestyles, it's like there's a lot of information out there, but it's all kind of scattered, you know, and it just feels overwhelming and confusing, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I don't know where to start.
That's right.
And so it's about creating an online platform to begin with that just feels like a very high vibe, uplifting, like, online home to come to, and then to be able to take all of these different classes on the stuff that we need to shift within ourselves.
Yes.
The things that we want to shift between ourselves.
Yes.
And then the things that we want to do, like in our environment or in our homes.
Because you can't make that shift on the 3D until it's done within you, within us, isn't it? It always has to be that change. My guru, you know, he says, earth peace through self peace. It's the future of humanity with the New Earth schools all over the world. I mean, that's just beautiful. Tell us how you see the New Earth school, you know, evolving.
Yeah. So, well, I think what will happen is that, you know, gradually it'll become more and more popular over the world, so that people will start to transform and become more empowered, realizing that there's so much they can do by themselves, start making changes. They'll be connecting more with nature, which is just number one, isn't it, Joanna?
Yes.
As we were talking about earlier, number one, to reconnect with ourselves as part of nature, and all of the healing and medicine that comes from being connected to nature. So naturopathy,
all of the herbs, all of the plant medicines that have been, you know, stopped, they're all coming back. You know, as the pharmaceutical industry goes down, natural herbs, which we've been using for thousands of years, by the way, haven't we? Will come back. It's the ancient wisdom, isn't it? The ancient wisdom.
Exactly. So all of that will come back, and then I think what will happen is that more and more people will start connecting with each other, because the other part of the New Earth School is the community side. So people will be connecting with each other and getting together, and then hopefully there'll be people working together to regenerate the land. You know, there are people around the world right now who are experts at bioregional regeneration, because obviously, you know, the whole issue at the moment with climate, with what's happening with the climate, is actually due to the degradation of our soils. You know, that's the cause of it.
You know, they are poisoned. They've been poisoning the earth, the land, the sea, the air for so many years now. For the past 200, 100, you know, 200 years they've been poisoning. And all we have to do is realize and just not poison the earth. If you don't poison the earth, people are not going to get sick. They're not going to eat that poisoned food. They're not going to, you know, pick up all the, you know, EMFs or all of the chemicals and poisons that are all around us.
It's not poisoning it, and it's allowing there to be biodiversity. And this is, you know, this is what has caused the extinction of so many civilizations before in the past. Just the overuse of the soil, monocultures, etc. So there are people around the world right now who are trying to fix this. But but with the New Earth School, it could be that a lot more people get involved. They're making shifts in their own lives. They're finding their empowerment. They're finding their purpose. And then the idea is that there would be some physical learning centers as well, community learning, immersion centers of heaven on earth, Joanne.
That's what it is.
That's what we want. We need these beacons. We need there to be certain eco-village
centers,
sort of centers that have, you know, that have culture created from a higher place in consciousness.
In every country, it's like a beacon, a light that's drawing all like-minded, all the people that want to live this new way.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really believe, well, I mean, I believe that, you know, as the whole banking system is totally collapsing, and we're coming into a new way. Quantum financial currency is going to come in new ways. And I believe as the corruption and evil dissolves, then all of that money that was taken is going to be available for humanitarian projects in the world. And I really believe that your New World School, that's going to be funded majorly. I just feel that all these new concepts that are here that are helping and benefiting humanity, they're the ones that are going to be funded, because the New Earth School is about it's mind, body and soul, isn't it? Holistic.
Yeah.
That's what many people, they don't realize. We can't just do one without the other. It has to be holistic.
It has to be holistic. Yeah, it has to be whole. It has to be balanced. This has to be integrated.
Please tell our audience, give us some guidelines and some advice that they can do going through this great awakening.
Well, one of the main things I think is to go out in nature, and don't just go out in nature and, you know, and walk around and still be thinking all the thoughts in your head. What I would really recommend is going out to a beautiful place in nature and finding like a sort of a key place, like maybe it's stepping through some trees, or maybe it is as you actually enter that space, but to make a commitment that when you walk through that place, you are leaving behind everything that's in your head. You're just letting everything about your life go. And so as you come through that space, and then you're fully in nature, you're fully present, and you listen. And I mean, listen on every level of your being, not just with your ears to the sounds, but you open up as a receiver, and you walk through that space then, or sacred wander through that space, and you pay attention to every little thing. And it might be that, you know, you don't take any move, you don't go anywhere unless you feel guided. So you just fully open yourself up. Allow yourself to be like a child in a way. Allow yourself to become innocent again, and fully in the heart, just in a state of awe and wonder. And it may be that, there's the light is coming through that pathway in a beautiful way. So I'm gonna wander down there. Or you get drawn to a tree, or you look up and the sun is shimmering through the leaves in such a beautiful way, and you just gaze for a long time, you know, that to just start to open the heart. And as you said, being in nature is the key to that. And then what might happen in that space, and being so open, is that realizations about who you really are and what is really important to you in your life will just come through by themselves.
Yes.
So that's a big one, you know.
That is so beautiful.
So important.
It's so important. And I love what you said about the innocence, because that's what I felt when I started going there. I was so in awe. Mother Earth came to me, and she brought me, it's almost like becoming whole again. And all them parts of my soul that I gave away, she helped me, you know, to bring them back. And she helped me to have that innocence again, to forgive myself and of everything. And I think that the innocence is so beautiful, because, you know, it's Mother Earth. She just forgives everything. That's God. She is God, goddess. It's beautiful.
Because no matter what we've done, or no matter what there is in our lives, or no matter what the other parts of us are, it's like there is always a part within us that is completely untouched, and we can always go there. It's completely untouched by anything about our egos, or, you know, our lives, or anything that's happened. It's endlessly in peace. And so we can always go to that place, and then we realize that we're really very whole. You know? Yeah.
Karen, you are so wonderful, and I love your you know, thank you for awakening, because you are awakening so many others, which is just lovely and profound. So, Karen, thank you for being on the Great Awakening Show.
Oh, thank you so much, Joanna. Likewise, thank you for all of your amazing work. You're an absolute treasure and gift to this world and to people. So.